In 1815, there was a small, peaceful village in England. Green hills and bright flowers surrounded the village. People here lived simple lives, but they were happy. The days were filled with sunshine, laughter, and hard work. In this village lived a young woman named Eliza. She was cheerful, full of energy, and loved to dream. Eliza spent her time exploring the woods and walking by the river. She was always curious, always looking for something exciting. Her best friend Mary often joked, "Eliza, you are always daydreaming. When will you find someone who matches your big dreams?" Eliza would laugh and reply, "Maybe someday, Mary, maybe someday."
One bright afternoon, Eliza went to a sparkling stream near the village. She loved this place. It was quiet and beautiful. When she arrived, she saw a group of villagers playing a game. "Eliza, come join us," Mary called. Eliza smiled and sat down. The game was called Truth or Dare. People had to either share a secret or do something fun. When it was Eliza's turn, Mary grinned mischievously. "I dare you to kiss the most handsome man here," she said. Eliza blushed and looked around. Her eyes landed on Thomas, a young man with kind blue eyes and a warm smile. She felt her heart skip a beat. Slowly she walked up to him. "Will you accept my dare?" she asked with a shy smile. Thomas laughed softly and said, "I suppose I have no choice." He leaned in and their lips met briefly. Everyone cheered, but all Eliza could think about was Thomas's kind face.
After that day, Eliza and Thomas started meeting more often. They talked in the market, walked by the river, and sat under the big oak tree in the village square. Thomas told Eliza about his dreams of traveling and building a happy life. Eliza shared her love for the woods and her wish to find true love. One evening, as the sun painted the sky orange, Thomas held Eliza's hand and said, "Eliza, I think I am falling in love with you." Eliza's heart raced. "I feel the same way," she said quietly. From that moment, their friendship turned into something deeper, true love. Their happiness didn't last long. A rich man named Lord Harrington came to the village. He was charming, wealthy, and used to getting what he wanted. When he saw Eliza, he decided she must marry him. Lord Harrington sent Eliza fancy gifts and invited her to grand parties, but Eliza felt uncomfortable. Her heart already belonged to Thomas. One day, Lord Harrington spoke to her directly. "Eliza, you deserve a better life. I can give you everything you want: jewels, fine clothes, a big house." Eliza shook her head politely. "Thank you, my lord, but I have already found what I want," she said. Eliza knew she needed to tell Thomas about Lord Harrington. That evening they met by the river. The stars twinkled above them as Eliza shared her worries. "Thomas," she said. "Lord Harrington wants to marry me, but I want you to know that my heart belongs to you." Thomas looked into her eyes and said, "Eliza, I may not have riches or a grand house, but I promise to give you a life full of love." Eliza smiled, tears in her eyes. "That is all I need, Thomas. I choose you." The next day, Eliza decided to speak to Lord Harrington. She found him in the village square, surrounded by people. "My lord," she said firmly, "I cannot marry you. My heart belongs to Thomas." The crowd went silent. Lord Harrington's face turned red with anger. "You will regret this," he said harshly. Eliza stood tall and replied, "True love is more important than riches. I will never regret my choice." The villagers admired her courage. Days later, Thomas took Eliza back to the stream where they first met. He held a small ring made of wildflowers. "Will you marry me, Eliza?" he asked, with hope in his eyes. "Yes," Eliza said, her voice filled with joy. Tears of happiness ran down her cheeks as they embraced. Eliza and Thomas's wedding was simple but beautiful. The whole village came to celebrate. There was music, dancing, and laughter. As they exchanged vows, Thomas said, "I will love you forever." Thomas smiled and replied, "And I would choose you again every single day." Eliza and Thomas lived in a small cottage near the river. They worked hard but were happy. Their home was always filled with laughter and the sound of their children playing. They taught their children the value of love, honesty, and kindness. The villagers often spoke of their love story as an example of true romance. Years passed, but Eliza and Thomas's love stayed strong. They often sat by the river, holding hands and watching the sunset. One evening, Eliza looked at Thomas and said, "We chose love, and it brought us a lifetime of happiness." Thomas smiled and replied, "And I would choose you again every single day."